What's up guys, Chimp here, and welcome back to a brand new video. And ignore this. This title is irrelevant. It's not what we're going to be doing. Today we're going to be doing my 2021 NFL team power rankings. Yes, and this is about halfway through the season, so we're getting to know how every single team is doing, getting just a general feeling. And I didn't really want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would just take way too long. Plus, that would be really indecisive, and the video would just take too long. Right? The Seahawks, they should be number 10. Actually, no, number 11. But this team's number 11, so I'm gonna move them back to 10. No, I don't really want to do that. So I created ranges 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and so on. And yeah, 31 and 32 gets their own category because they're so terrible that they only have two of them. That's all. All right. But we're starting off with a really good one in the Seattle Seahawks, and I have now realized the Seahawks are not that good without Russ. Right, and I think we would have all expected that. Every team would be, a bit weird without, or weird at the best without their unbelievable star franchise QB. But the Seattle Seahawks, they put up a good fight against the Steelers. It was an interesting Monday Night Football game. I think they're 16-20, probably number 16. And the reason is that defense is not very good, not very good at all. So, and especially without Russ, you will definitely expect them to. You have to expect them to lose more games as time goes on. So they're definitely number 16. I will be doing these in order, by the way. So if the Colts are number 17, they would be after the Seahawks. So that's how this is gonna work. But the next team on the list is the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm gonna have them at 21-25. This is probably about mid-range. The Colts have been disappointing. Yes, they have definitely been disappointing, and for a team that's pretty good, you're like 2-4, I think. That's not a very good record, first of all. So you got to get that up. Now you may be asking, why are the Seahawks are, according to you, way better than the Colts, but both of them have the same record? You have to look at what situation the Seahawks are in and what situation the Colts are in. Because, yes, they lost Quentin Nelson, but he's not the guy that, leads that team to victory and has been good for 8 to 9 years, just like Russ has, you know? So you gotta think that the Colts are in a the better situation, and they have lost an equal amount of games. The Steelers, by the way, that was really confusing, so if you didn't understand that, I didn't understand it too. But the Steelers are going to go ahead of the Colts in the 21-25 list. And the reason is they're just not very good. They don't have the offensive line to block for Najee Harris. That's the reason why he's averaging 3 per carry, right? But he's still a really good player because of the value he offers as an all-around running back. So the Steelers definitely do not have their franchise quarterback anymore in Ben Roethlisberger. They have had him as a franchise quarterback, but no longer have him as a franchise quarterback. Past tense and present tense. But the Steelers are a decent team. I hate Mike Tomlin. I still remember that incident where he had a pathetic attempt at cheating against the Baltimore Ravens to get in the receiver's way. But still, Mike Tomlin, I'm a Ravens fan, so I hate the Steelers in general, right? But Mike Tomlin is a good head coach. I don't think he's ever had a losing season. I think this is going to be his first. But overall, the Steelers aren't that bad of a team. They're just not that good. Falcons, they're in the 26-30 range. Obviously, they're not, that 28-3 Falcons team, and they're actually pretty good. Kyle Pitts is starting to break out as a star. Cordarrelle Patterson is getting a lot of hype. I think unnecessary hype, because Cordarrelle Patterson is a returner. He's a returner. All right, he's also in his 30s. Stop hyping him up because he's not exactly, that pure receiver. We don't even know if he's a running back or a receiver. There could be arguments made about that. So, the Falcons are 26 to 30 range though. Their record isn't that good at all. How are they doing? How are the Falcons doing? They just beat the Dolphins, by the way. They are 3-3. That's what I'm saying. But can they really compete with all the other teams above them? In my opinion, no. San Francisco 49ers, they're 21 to 25. Man, we're starting off with the lower teams here. We're not getting a single. I mean, we're getting a couple of teams along the way, but not many teams that are really in the top right now. But anyways, the 49ers have just been an all-around disappointment, because we thought, hey, it's just their injuries that are holding them back. And I think they're definitely suffering more significant injuries. Deebo Samuel is usually injured, but apparently when he's not, he's a pretty good player. Like, really good. Has 500 yards, I think, on the year. So, the 49ers have good players, but I think they're, again, being hampered by injuries. And this is the big part, they're not playing unbelievable football like they did in that Super Bowl year. That's all. The Jets they're horrifyingly terrible. They just let up 54 points against the Patriots. You cannot defend a team like that. 54-13, they didn't even compete. They did not compete at all. 54 points against a team that struggles heavily to put points on the board. So that's kind of embarrassing. So they're definitely either number 31 or 32. I think maybe even the worst team in football. That's all. In general. The Buffalo Bills, they're number 2 or 3. I know, number 2. They're a really good team, but they lost to the Titans. They lost to Derrick Henry. Let's just be honest. Did they really lose to the Titans? They lost to Derrick Henry. Right? So, that's just the entire point. That's the reason why they lost. They could not stop Derrick Henry in the second half. And that's just pathetic for a team that could have been the best team in football. Yes, we know that Derrick Henry is the best running back in football. I understand that. He is for a reason. But the Cardinals, who are going to be number 1 on this list, there we go. The Cardinals, in week 1, Derrick Henry didn't do much against them. He did not. The Cardinals won in a landslide, I think 38-13. It wasn't even close. And the whole big reason of that was stopping Derrick Henry, which the Bills could not do. As we are now starting to, get a move on a bit, as we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They do not have their franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts. He just does not have the accuracy to be a pure franchise quarterback. He's a fun player, can come in, in certain positions where in quarterback runs. But I think that's pretty much it. He's not meant to be a pure passer. His stats aren't bad, I'll be honest, but his accuracy is bad, or is pretty bad. The New Orleans Saints is up next. They're such a hard team to rank. I think they're about number 14 or 13 in the league. The Saints are just really inconsistent. They started off with a bang. Packers, we're even better than when we were with Drew Brees. We beat the Packers and only allowed 3 points, and then after that they lose to the Giants in week 4. It's a really weird year, but Jameis Winston is doing decent, so keep an eye on him. But other than that, the Saints are just really inconsistent and hard to rank. That's all. Patriots 16-20. They're certainly behind Seattle. Again, they're another team which is just really hard to rank. I don't know where to put them. Because at one point they look like they could win the game, and then after that they don't, because they'll only lose by a small margin. The Patriots aren't a bad team, but they just aren't a good team at this point. Mac Jones isn't doing bad, and he's probably I think this is safe to say that he's probably the best quarterback coming out of that 2021 draft class. Because Justin Fields has thrown, I think, like 2 touchdowns and maybe 5 picks, including this week's game against the Bucks. Terrible. A terrible quarterback class, at least so far. Trevor Lawrence has been pretty good. You cannot put all of the blame on him, but definitely something is his fault because he's thrown 9 picks. So definitely not all of Jacksonville's fault that he's not doing good. I don't know. We'll make a different video on that, as the Chargers are in the 6 to 10 range. And here's the reason why. The Chargers would have been a top 5 team in the league if they had not lost. I forgot what it was. It was not close. It was not close. So we will talk about the team who beat them next. Because it was, 34-6. But by the Ravens at home, away from home, 6 points. We were all expecting you to, like, put up an amazing fight, and 6 points is all you could muster up. That's terrible. As we now move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. People will not agree with what I'm about to say here. I think they're better than the Chargers, in my opinion. They just beat the same team that beat the Chargers 34-6, went to the same place, Baltimore, Maryland, and whacked the Ravens' ass 41-17. It was a frustrating game. Frustrating game for my Ravens. They're number 6 on this list, and they're getting close to a top 5 team in the league. Jamar Chase is looking like he can be the best receiver in football in year 1. He had 201 yards. Jamar Chase is looking unreal. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are just playing like LSU. Nothing changed. It's horrifying to see the Bengals demolish the Ravens like this. So, yeah. Anyways, after that heartfelt message, the Bears are in the 21 to 25 range and definitely below all these guys. Of course, Justin Fields isn't doing the best stat-wise. I may have to look at him, how he's doing actually. Are any of the interceptions that he's throwing his fault? Justin Fields, these stats are not good. These stats are definitely not good. He has thrown 2 picks against the Bucks, 3 picks in general, and has only thrown 2 touchdowns. And he has the 53% completion percentage. Running the ball hasn't been much effective either. He's averaging 3.9 per carry. So, it's been rough. It's been rough. Justin Fields, I would much rather have started Andy Dalton. While many people would disagree, don't throw quarterbacks in at week 4. You're not going to get a good result out of that, Chicago. You did that last time with Mitch Trubisky, and he didn't turn out to be that good of a player. The Cowboys are definitely in the 6 to 10 range, and probably right here, right? Trevon Diggs is good in picking the ball off, all right? He's an interception master, but does that mean he's the best corner in football? Absolutely not. If you look at stats, yeah, he is. It's not even close, but that he lets up big completions sometimes, and maybe even a lot of the time, but he has 7 picks, but the Cowboys are really reliant on their offense. Again, their defense is allowing a lot of points, but their offense has been unbelievable because Zeke has been coming back. Tony Pollard's been really effective, and then Dak Prescott. I don't know if I mentioned him already, but Dak Prescott's been really good. Dolphins, they're like the bottom team in 26 to 30. Even with Tua, they're not doing good. You could have, argued, oh, they had Jacoby Brissett. That's why they lost so many games in a row. And then Tua comes back. Has it really been a different story? You lost to Jacksonville. Whether that would be in London or in Hard Rock, you lost to a winless team projected to have the number 1 overall pick. That says something about your team. You're struggling. As the Rams are coming in at number 3. Yes, I do have them behind the Bills because they're currently struggling to beat the Detroit Lions. What's going on? They're 25 to 19. The Lions are moving the ball on them. Why? Darrell Williams, that's not Darrell Williams, that's Jamal Williams. Jared Goff has not been bad at all. DeAndre Swift, by the way, is averaging like 3.2 yards per carry. That's not very good, but still. I mean, you're talking about a team. I think their running backs averaged 1.8. Yeah, DeAndre Swift, I fumbled with the name of it. DeAndre Swift averaged 1.8 per carry against Cincinnati, and Jamal Williams, 2.8. It was not good. And now you're allowing them to move the football. You just can't do that against a winless team. So, they're number 3 on this list. The Las Vegas Raiders are coming up next, and they're 16-20. Honestly, I think ahead of the Patriots and could be ahead of the Seahawks as well. Judging by record, I may have to do that. You know what? I'm just putting them in 11-15. The Raiders are going through rough times without John Gruden, but when they played, they didn't look like they were missing John Gruden at all. Right? They still play like a Raiders team. So, a good Raiders team, I mean. As the Browns are coming in about 11-15, I can really defend them saying that they didn't have Baker Mayfield, but is that really bad? Dun dun dun, is Baker Mayfield really the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns? No, he is. But the Browns won pretty well against the Broncos, and that shows that their defense is really good. Offense could use some work. You know, you only beat them by 3. That you only scored 17 points as well. So the Browns are definitely a decent team. Oh, they're in the 11-15 range, but I don't think they're higher than that. And I definitely think they could be lower than that. The Giants. Ooh. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I know I said I was going to do this before. No, actually, I'm going to stick with this. The Giants are at, like, right here. Number 27 in the league, in my opinion. The Giants are not good, alright? You can defend your team how much ever you want, but in the end, we all have to admit that record is not pretty. Daniel Jones is an average quarterback at best, right? And he just flashes. Daniel Jones, could he be the franchise quarterback? And then next week, Daniel Jones, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, the leading rusher for the Giants, and a very low completion percentage. That's basically what Daniel Jones is. As we're now coming to the Denver Broncos. Man, they sucked real bad against the Cleveland Browns. They could not get that offense moving. I think they're a complete fluke. Which is why, what did I do? There we go. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to move the Falcons up to 25, bring the Broncos down to 26. It's just how it is. What else can I say? The Broncos were terrible against the Browns. So, I can't really defend them. That's all. And then next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they're definitely a top 5 team in the league. I think there's no question about it. So there you go. I'm not even talking about it. It's the Bucs. The Lions. They're definitely the worst team in football. If they can beat the Rams, they're going up to like number 1. No, I'm just joking. But the Lions are just not able to get anything going. I can't really blame them. They don't actually have the roster to beat pretty good teams like the LA Rams, and of course the Cardinals, but in the end, 31 or 32, it's arguable who's the worst team in the league. The Jags, the Lions. I think it's definitely the Lions at this moment in time. But they're challenging the Rams, so in the end they could move up to 30. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're keeping it this way. The Jags are coming in at number 30. Again, this is pretty arguable. The Jets could be at number 30. The Jags could be at number 31. Or you could really like the Lions and put them at 30. And the Jags could be at 32. And the Jets can stay at 31. You can do it in many different ways. But in the end, this is how I decided to go with it. The Jags are a good team. They have a good roster. They have a terrible head coach, in my opinion, and a really good franchise quarterback that they're not really using to his full potential. So, in the end, the Jags are at number 30. Better coaching staff, better record. That's all I can say. Washington football team, they have not been actually that good. But I think Taylor Heineke's definitely way better than we thought he would be. So we'll keep it there. We'll keep them there. And Minnesota Vikings, they're definitely better than the Browns and the Raiders, and maybe even better than the Saints. The Vikings are doing good. Kirk Cousins has forgotten how to throw interceptions. What? I know, right? It's unbelievable. We're talking about a guy who threw 15 picks last year. He has thrown two interceptions. He's forgotten how to do it. He used to be the king of interceptions before. He really isn't now. So there you go. The Vikings are definitely close to number 11, maybe even a top 10 team in football. They're getting close. The Chiefs, yeah, they're 16. They're the bottom most here. We'll put them over Washington because they did 27-3 against the Titans. Mahomes doesn't even really care. It looks like he's thrown 9 picks in 7 games. The Chiefs are 3-4. Their defense sucks. Daniel Sorensen is the worst player in football history. What can I say? The Chiefs are just bound for failure this year. The Ravens, they're better than the Chargers, worse than the Bengals. We lost to the Bengals, 41-17 at home. So we're definitely going down. We're number, 8? 8. So I definitely do think that this is a pretty fair ranking. As we're now getting to the Carolina Panthers. They're such a fluke. Such a fluke. Unbelievable fluke. You just can't deny. You cannot deny this. We're putting them at 16-20. It just has to happen. They're worse than Washington football team even. What is this? You just lost to the Giants by a blowout. It wasn't close. Where are they here? 25-3. To the Giants. The Giants. But with that, they don't have CMC. If that makes an entire difference, then maybe we think that the Carolina Panthers were just missing a star player, and they're back to being good. Just missing one star player should not affect your team that much, that you lose 4 straight. As the Tennessee Titans are, I think, 6-10. Ooh, I made a mistake. I have made a mistake. I had to move someone up. The Packers, by the way, top 5 team in the league and probably over the Rams as well. Top 3 team in the league. The Packers are just really well-rounded on offense, defense, maybe even special teams. Aaron Rodgers is not really... that first game, he's not going to win MVP. He's not even trying. Well, I just realized that maybe all those guys are lying and Aaron Rodgers is still himself. The Packers have a great defense, a great offense, overall a really good team. But here's the mistake I made. The Texans are not a top 15 team in football, so I'm going to have to move one of these guys up to number 15. So we're going to move the Seahawks up, and then the Steelers up, and then the Broncos up, and then the Texans coming at number 29. There we go. So now I've completed my power rankings. However, let me explain this. The Texans are above the Jags for one reason, and one reason only. They have beaten the Jaguars. First game of Trevor Lawrence's career was not very good. But the Texans, though, they put up a fight. And Tyrod Taylor could actually be pretty good. I don't know why my mouse disappeared there. But Tyrod Taylor could actually lead them pretty good. I don't know why they're starting Davis Mills. Because Davis Mills, let's just be honest, has not been playing that good. So, in the end, the Texans are probably backmarkers, yes. But I think with Tyrod Taylor, they're actually competing better than I thought they would. Which is a weird thing to say. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And, yeah, this is a weird one at the end because I had to move everyone around one. But in the end, my opinion, Cardinals, best team in football. Lions, worst team in football. And number 16, New England Patriots. And the biggest faller, this is hard because I actually didn't do this before, but I may do this like every single week sort of thing. But I think the biggest faller would probably be the Kansas City Chiefs, because, it's the Chiefs. We're all expecting them to say, hey, it's just a rough start. They'll get back and win how many ever straight games in a row. I think they went from about maybe even a top 10 team in the league, or by many people, to number 17 on my list, right? But that is going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.